At this point in the history of Nigeria, there is no amount of promises, preaching, or motivational word that can heal the current wounds of the people in order to stop or rather limit every individual's capacity to self-determination.
Since 3 a.m. when I never received any money because the population of people when they here, they're too much. Now only this bank now they pay for Ring Road. Last bank, what would they call First Bank? You know they pay. Why UBA now 5 naira now they pay, and that 5 naira they go pack a full your hand. The 15 naira when this one see they pay now condemn 15 naira now they pack give up. We not get safe our own money again.
The era of political repression and human rights abuses, extrajudicial killings and ethnic persecution in this nation that have been messed up by political cabalism, capitalism, imperialism, nepotism, incompetent and selfish hands in government structures, including but not limited to religious daddies and mummies doctrines and indoctrinations, must and should at this point submit to its history portal.
Even to eat 1 square meal a day now problem. Even the transfer the say person they do no network. I just tire person go come out till the money can't stand for bank till night. Even withdraw 2,000 naira na problem.
What is needed at this point in the history of this great nation is the physical manifestation of the healing word, the practical implementation of those laws that looks good on papers and ends up there. The eradication of propaganda, intimidation, and manipulation of justice must take effect in this about to break Nigeria.
How come a mere change of currency by the Central Bank of Nigeria should lead to a country bleeding, asphyxiating, politicians screaming, common people dying on the streets, fighting? Did you not see some viral video? I cried. I was with my wife. I shed hot tears. The young man stripped himself naked to the shame of a country. What was he saying? He said, I have over 500,000 naira in this bank. All I want to make my family survive, if I can just get 100,000, I will be okay. They told him he could not withdraw. He had no old notes. He had no new ones, but he had the money in the bank. The young man went berserk. The kind of things that lead people to commit suicide. He stripped himself completely naked. I burst out crying.
What can be said about a city where all kinds of evil and autocratic shenanigans are being magnified and celebrated? Goodwill and fairness are no longer in view. Conscience and goodwill becomes a fairy tale quote that can only be read in a storybook. Corruption and highest point of wickedness becomes the looming criteria for survival. As long as you are in good book or perhaps in covenant with any oga at the top, you are sorted and have nothing to worry about. Even if you have to commit the worst crime, it takes just a phone call. Oga, release him, he's my boy. Sorted. What can be said of a country where a prisoner is tried and released by a judicial system of a government, but the executive system of the same government still hold him bound and refuse to let him go? Without realizing that the future they seek is the man that is caged in their own prison, they are shamelessly proving the fact that they are guilty of everything he constantly accused them of. For how long will Nnamdi Kanu remain a prisoner of conscience in his own right to self-determination when the real issues that should be imprisoned are ravaging itself at the expense of human dignity? My question is, who is Nigeria and what is Nigeria? Is Nigeria a place or a contraction? If Nigeria is a human, does he have a soul? When a place of spiritual worship to God turns to a synagogue where money becomes a god to the priest and the synagogue to the worshippers, a place where riches and illegal means of acquiring powers and position becomes a savage for service. Illegalities and injustice are now used to determine who is human and who is subhuman. Therefore, giving the youth the courage to leverage in all forms of criminality, prostitution and okite. The agonizing abnormalities, the tears, the pains of bad governance and fear of death, the killing and dehumanization of innocent citizens, intimidation of all kinds, direct and indirect robbery, denial of basic human rights in a broader light, instigation of false hope and manipulation of justice, the tyranny of democracy. Arise, O compatriot.